Hey, good evening, folks. So I've been playing around with my 3D printer that I got about a month ago at this point, and I realized I had some of this clear filament hanging around, so I figured this would be a good chance to take apart and re-put back together my D-Link. This is the prototype, the pre, I've been calling it. I'm still getting used to calling it that, but not the 1.0. That's still in the works, but figured I would make this video just to, show what the process is like. I really haven't picked this up in quite a while, maybe a week or so since I last actively read anything. I was reading Dune last time. Here's the device. Obviously it has a black case with black TPU buttons on it. So I figured I would maybe also go ahead and show off how to replace the screen, I guess, this is a new screen, so I figured I would install that one. It's one of the fabled screens with just the front light, no touch. Obviously a lot of opinions on that matter, but either way, I have one of the replacement screens, so let's take this apart and put back together the new one with the plastic or the transparent case. Sorry if you hear any sounds in the background. It's a very echoey room, but yeah, so the main thing is these 4 screws holding together basically everything. It's just a 2-part piece with the buttons held in sort of just with the tension of them being sandwiched together. So we can also take off the battery cover as well. Just a 2 or 3 millimeter screw holding in the battery cover. And the battery is just sort of slotted in. On the 1.0, the PIP model rather, again, still getting used to that. This will have, it'll be a little bit smaller of a battery, so about 150 milliamp hour less. However, it won't just be sitting on the screen or sitting on the PCB rather. The PCB has a little cutout or a little nibble in it that allows for the battery to have a specific place that can, sit on the screen without making it too much thicker. But either way, we didn't really need to take that off, but just to show it off. So let's take off these screws next. Apologies if the camera goes out of focus as well. I can't really control that too well, just using my phone camera. And the 4th screw. Okay. So let's take this off. As you can see, sort of the whole screen and everything kind of fits together with it, so let's kind of just separate it. So there, all my screws will come out. We'll harvest those a little bit later. These are the buttons printed in TPU. Like I was saying before, they're a little messy. Printed quite a while ago, maybe with some drier filament and some better settings. I could have gotten some better prints, but they're all flexy, but I don't think you have to use those. It's just for feeling, or at least I was trying it out, and that's just what I went with. These are the ribbon cable connectors that go to the screen. This is for the LEDs, and this is for the screen itself. So all you gotta do is just, unclip them like that. And then all of a sudden, you can sort of just guide it, or guide the ribbon cables through. Once the front panel's off, just take it off. So there's an independent screen with the front light. If you're not familiar with these front light panels, by the way, it's just 6 LEDs for each color, just sort of inserted here. They're taped because I peeled them back just to take a look at them. They're just for development anyways. So let's put that aside, and then we can talk about all the other parts that are harvested. So obviously all the buttons, the front panel, the back panel, and the screws. So let's get these screws out of here, by the way. Don't know off the top of my head what size screws these are. I'd have to go reference my box to see what length, but let's push these out. Ideally you have not your fingers doing this. Let me take out these screws. So 4 screws, 5 if you include the battery cover. And then you're basically all set to reassemble the next one. Let's see, where did I put the battery cover screw? Oh, here it is. So this one as well. Take this one out. I also have these little tiny screw hole covers. Basically, I don't really like the look of, you know, these silver screws on the back, so I made a little complement part that you could glue in and sort of just like pry off if you really wanted to later, but I'm not going to be assembling those today. I'm fine with them being exposed just for this, and obviously I'm not even, you know, releasing this or I'm not recommending this to be built, but it's just for me, and, you know, just to show how I kind of consider the design process and assembly process for this. So we have the bare board, obviously min read that's out of date. It's now the D-Link. So what'll change with the 1.0 is, like I said, there'll be a little cutout for the battery instead of it having to, you know, just sit here. And this little thing right here, this was a accessory port for unused pins that I decided to make accessible. For this version, it was just sort of a back panel thing that, you know, you'll see on, you'll actually see it pretty clearly on this part. It's exposed, or it was exposed right here, but I sort of just covered it up because I realized I didn't really like the way how it didn't sit flush. So I figured I would, you know, just revisit that with the 1.0, and now it juts out on the edge. So it'll be like it'll sit right on the top or wherever the top will be. So that'll be where any accessories go. The buttons are mostly placed in the same place, except for the front ones. These are moved to the same type of, or same style buttons for the side ones, except they won't be as tall. Every one of these side buttons won't be as tall. They'll be about maybe a 0.5 millimeter, a 1/4 millimeter shorter. Yeah, this is everything you might need. USB, SD card, USB 32. Okay, so let's put this together. So the way I like to do this is essentially just, I'm actually gonna use my old screen. I'm not gonna use a brand new screen just for nothing. Just for my own device. This is a little bit smudged. I've had it for a few months now, so I'll deal with the fingerprinting of my own doing. So what I like to do is just sort of align these two ribbon cables and slide them through, and then we'll go on the other side and lock them in. There we go. Or let's line them up. You can't really get these wrong. I mean, that's how these ribbon cables are designed, but I'm a little picky with how I like them to sit, so I think that's probably good enough. Let's do just one more. Okay, so we'll lock that in just with my fingernail, the tip of my finger, and the same one here, the LED strip. So just line it up and insert. Okay, and we'll lock it in. Okay, so now you just have a screen unit, the screen and the unit blended together. So what I like to do next is take the front panel of the case and sort of just wiggle it in like so. So just kind of dangle the front into its little spot where it likes to sit, and then sort of just find the place where, you know, it pushes forward. Oh, actually I missed a step. It's been a while since I've done this actually, but the front buttons, I gotta put those in. So let's just slide them in. So these will go right over the ones on the front there. This filament is really messing with me. I can barely even tell that you know, it's in. And don't make a joke about that. So yeah, slide the panel right where it wants to sit, right in the slot, and then kind of just push it all forward. And then you can kind of confirm that you've got it right after everything's sitting flush and pretty. Let's see. Okay. There we go. Everything's flush. The buttons work, or at least they will work once there's a little bit more tension. I'm sorry if I'm missing anything with my camera. I'm not looking really through it that much. I don't have a viewfinder, it's just a screen. But so the next part is the side buttons. So what I like to do is just kind of, the way they're designed, it's probably better to use one of these. So the way they're designed, they have little wings. So I like to put them in where the wings are kind of sitting up. And we'll put them right over each of the buttons. Okay. 1, 2, 3, and 4. A little bit of stickage. And 4 rather, and 5. Okay, so all those are in. So now we just have to put in the back panel. So line up the little spot for the header and all the buttons. And here's where it really comes together, and what I really don't like about this design is the way the buttons fit and feel are relying a lot on how you actually align this. So let's see if I get it good on the first try. Okay. Make sure that I can press them all and there's no problem. Make sure they sit good. Put them on the side. Oh, actually I powered it on. Whoopsie. Okay. Okay, great. Let's put this bad boy, screw this bad boy in. So, let's see. We'll do this, the diagonal method. Kind of just wiggle it in and screw until it hits the bottom. Don't put them too tightly, just so that one side isn't thrown off its axis or something like that. Okay, there we go. Slide in the hole, tighten it up. That one fit right through. And last one here. Okay, cool. Double check the buttons. They're all pressable. These front ones are a little problematic. Yeah, definitely not a part of the design that I like. Let's see if tightening them gives us a little bit of a better shot. Let's see. Okay, that's much better. Okay, nice tactile feedback for everything. Tighten these in just one more time, just one cycle. Okay, so let's get this last one. This is the battery cover, obviously, so just put that right over, slot it in the legs, or slot it into the legs, and then put this last screw in. Okay. We're just screwing right into the plastic. They have little divoted holes with a radius that kind of slopes downward, so it's all fine good. Okay, now we have a transparent D-link unit. Not as like transparent-ish as I was really trying to go for. It more looks like a gray now. I think maybe if I was a little bit better at printing and finishing and whatnot, I would get a better look, or maybe it's just the filament itself. But let's see what it looks like turned on. And we'll lower the brightness of this ring light, or turn it off even, and see what we got for brightness. So with the front light on, I'm actually curious to see what this looks like with the light off. Wow. Wow, that is really cool. Wow, I really like that actually. Okay. I can't find the light now, so I guess I will end it here. Okay, thanks.